I realize there are quite a few new people, so allow me to introduce you. It's Update Monday! What's going on with ya, big dog? And it is an amazing Update Monday. And for people that did not know, Update Monday was started about 7 months ago when I first realized that I could kick rheumatoid arthritis' ass. Since then, I've been giving out mental and physical updates, hopefully to inspire you to be a lot better than what you are, because seriously, you're a lot better than what you are, even if you are doing good. So to reiterate it one more time, because we always have to do it, it has been 7 months and 1 week of kicking rheumatoid arthritis' ass. I mean, if 8 months ago, future me would have told past me that I'd slide through rheumatoid arthritis with no major symptoms, I would have smacked myself upside the head. And speaking of physical, we can't move past this without talking about the mental. To be 100% honest with you, for the past month, I have been depressed as all hell, and I'm actually kind of happy that I kind of snaked my way without anybody noticing it. And the biggest reason why is because even though I knew I was going through a rut, a really, really bad time, I knew that times would be better. So if you are going through a rough patch right now, I have to tell you, times will be better. It'll definitely be better than what I did. I mean, I lost $2,000 in that entire month. So yeah, I'm on a budget. And speaking of budget, today I wanted to give you a revisit on the top 5 competitive budget decks for this format, as well as some Master Duel deck profiles for the people that play Master Duel. It's really exciting not only to give you budget decks for the TCG for people that want to jump on in, but also giving you Master Duel profiles because the format is just a little bit different. But without further ado, let's jump on in so we could talk about these top 5 budget competitive decks. So one thing I want to point out is that I actually did a similar video a little bit earlier. I talked about 5 strategies that a Master Duel player could use or could play coming into the TCG realm on a budget. Now, some of those strategies you can 100% still use, and I'm not even going to mention inside of this video. Decks like Virtual World, Tri-Brigade, and Floowandereeze are still amazing strategies that are fairly budget. And then there's the other strategies that, yeah, they'll take your wallet down. All I can say is that if you in Skill Drain walk down a dark alley, just give him your wallet. Dog, there's no Batman to save you. He has no skill. He has no skill in the first place. This might work. But moving on to our first strategy, I have to say for the Master Duel, DRAGONMAID is amazing. Not only is it a strategy that is really easy to get, no single DRAGONMAID card is above super rare for the main deck, DRAGONMAID Shoe and House DRAGONMAID being the only ultra rares, this strategy actually applies fairly well in the TCG as a fairly good budget deck. The DRAGONMAID strategy makes its lunch off of being a control deck, winning in the battle of attrition. The longer the games run, the better this deck becomes, as Heretic Seal of Heavenly Spheres allows you to not only bounce an opponent's card, but can special summon a DRAGONMAID monster from your deck to your side of the field to gain its effect. On top of that, DRAGONMAID Tiding only allows you to bounce on another opponent's card by returning that DRAGONMAID monster from your field to your hand so you can summon it back to your side of the field on your turn to gain its effect. House DRAGONMAID may not look as intimidating at first. Yes, it only special summons dragon monsters to your side of the field and destroy cards when cards are bounced. But then you realize this card can be freely summoned to the side of the field by negating an opponent's card effect with DRAGONMAID Shoe. This, to a skilled player, is a really fun deck to play and is on a pretty decent budget. DRAGONMAID LORPAR is the strategy's most expensive card, being a $10 secret rare that you only need 1 copy of. The sky is the limit for DRAGONMAID. You can start off fairly cheap and then even move it to a Rocket Dragon Link strategy, or just keep it pure DRAGONMAIDs if you want to control the field. And plus, I ain't gonna cap. I mean, I want all those maids in my house too. I mean, you get a kitchen one, you get a chamber one. The chamber one. Chamber mommy, don't ever leave me. Now, if you have a heart of steel, you might be able to master this strategy. I mean, don't take offense when I say Iron Chain is an incredibly cheap deck, effective, and for the right player can win you a lot of games. The Unchained strategy is built on being able to destroy your Unchained spell and trap cards that will allow you to summon monsters to your side of the field. These Unchained monsters pretty much do the same as when they're destroyed, they allow you to special summon monsters as well. So what makes Unchained so good? Well, some of the Unchained Link monsters allow you to link summon using your opponent's monsters as material. All the way to your Unchained Abomination, which allows you to destroy cards for destroying cards and then destroy cards for destroying cards, and then at the end phase, destroy a card. It just destroy cards. Now, a deck that you can definitely chain link together is the Live Twin strategy. If you have the funds, these two strategies work fairly well together, as a Live Twin strategy prevents you from summoning anything other than Fiend, and those Unchained monsters just so happen to be Fiend monsters in themselves. But if you stick to a pure budget version of Unchained, then being able to dimensional shifter your opponent, banishing everything in the graveyard instead, could really be deadly, as a lot of decks just can't withstand that. Also, cards like Torrential Tribute and Solemn Strike just got a rare reprint inside of Grand Creators, making this deck a lot cheaper and easier to access. I want to say that Unchained is one of the cheapest strategies that we're gonna see on here, and is fairly competitive inside of a format where monsters need to be on the field to finish off their combos. Now for Master Duel, the only Unchained Ultra is Unchained Abomination, which is pretty good. You can be able to construct an Unchained deck for fairly cheap, and then the best thing about it is that you can meld it with other Fiend strategies along the way. Prank Kids is one of the better strategies on a budget, and that sentence may leave you scratching your head. You would think you would need the Adventurous engine, which is extremely expensive. Water Temple of the Enchantress is $45, so is Rite of Arimathea. That's already close to $300 for up to 6 cards that you probably need for your Prank Kids deck. But here's a very cool thing. Have you tried playing it without it? This strategy can still make Prank Kids Battle Butler without the Adventure Token engine. And how will you be able to crack your boards? Well, I'm not telling you to use Hand Traps in Mystic Mine, a card that can be activated to stop your opponent from stopping you on the way to your Battle Butler, and then you can activate your Prank Kids Place on top of your Mystic Mine, getting rid of it for you. But whatever you want to do with that information is what you want to do with that information. I mean, seriously, if them kids was a strategy, it would definitely be Prank Kids. This is the strategy that is not only extremely cheap and will teach you a lot of things about the Yu-Gi-Oh card game, like how to piss off your opponent and win fairly easily. Also, along the way of building this deck, you're going to be able to get the hand traps that will transfer over to other strategies. Also, in Master Duel, Prank Kids are fairly easy to get. This is a strategy that can take you to the top as well, even without the Adventure Token engine, and to be honest, it's a little bit better because you have Prank Kids Meow Meow Mew at 3. Moving forward to a strategy that has been around for years, and ironically this strategy got cheap. I mean, like, ridiculously cheap. Shaddoll is a strategy that has been out since 2014 in Duelist Alliance, and there's no signs of it slowing down. It meshes really well with the Invoke strategy, cards that just got reprints inside of Maximum Gold Eldorado, so the deck is probably cheaper than it's ever been in the entire existence of Yu-Gi-Oh! The Shaddoll Invoke strategy is fairly simple. You have normal summon Alistair the Invoker, be able to fusion summon it into your invoked Mechaba, and when it's your graveyard, ever since I was a Reeb Nonyak, I already knew the value of our graveyard. That's how we work. And if you live by that way of life, the Invoke strategy is something that we can all turn up to. And speaking of that, there's something else that you must follow within the Invoke strategy. While we do celebrate being able to share each other's graveyard, we also must celebrate only being able to special summon once, as being able to fusion summon into Shaddoll Winda can stop some of the top decks from special summoning multiple times, and you know how much they need to special summon multiple times in a turn. The most expensive card for this Shaddoll Invoke strategy would be Nadir Servant at a whopping $10 each, and as you go through the ranks and build your deck upwards, I would strongly suggest getting a DPE, which is a Destiny Hero Phoenix Enforcer, for your strategy, so you could live the life of being able to special summon Destiny Hero Phoenix Enforcer, duh. Inside of Master Duel, we know that clearly doesn't exist, but this deck is still a top deck. Is it easy to get? I mean, it depends on what your version of easy to get is. It's definitely a deck that can take over and dominate some games though. And lastly is a strategy that is the biggest benefactor from the Forbidden List. Not a lot of people have noticed, but this deck has been making waves. And while Beatrice, Lady of the Eternal, didn't come off the Forbidden List like we were hoping, oh man, some other cards came out to make Burning Abyss a really good competitive budget deck. The Burning Abyss strategy focuses on this. Exceed summon into Beatrice, Lady of the Eternal, set some back row, stay in your lane, relax, chill, end of the video. It's not the end of the video. Yes, that very much used to be how the strategy worked. Being able to make Beatrice, Lady of the Eternal, to be able to send monsters like Farfa to your graveyard to banish cards on your opponent's side of the field, but also being able to make tempo with the deck using your trap cards like Paleozoic Dynamiscus and Karma Cut to banish some of your opponent's most important cards, but discarding Burning Abyss monsters like Skarm gave you so much advantage. But now we have Fairy Tale Snow off of the Forbidden list, and this deck is going to go bananas. Not only can Fairy Tale Snow special summon itself from the graveyard off of being sent from Beatrice, it can also allow you to play Orbital HYDRALANDER in your deck with ease. A monster that can be special summoned to your side of the field by having 5 monsters with different names. What's a deck that can send 5 monsters to the graveyard with ease? I don't know, maybe a deck that can send off the top of the deck to the graveyard. Don't you dare think about Lightsworn. I swear if you think about... Lightsworn's good too. These youngins really don't have any respect for the good old decks, as Lightsworn can not only use Orbital HYDRALANDER, that new amazing card, oh that card's new, but also it can use cards like Fairy Tale Snow and Destrudo. This man don't know what he's talking about. Lightsworn is definitely... What were we talking about? While Burning Abyss and Lightsworn may share some of the same attributes when it comes to that, Burning Abyss can also use Destrudo. This is a strategy that is significantly cheaper than the Lightsworn strategy as well. I gotta say, both of those strategies do have the potential to shine inside of the format, as not only are they great inside of the TCG, Burning Abyss is miraculous inside of Master Duel. A skilled player on Master Duel could easily take this strategy to the top ranks, because Burning Abyss is one of those strategies that just never dies, it just multiplies. And that is all I have for the top 5 competitive budget decks this format. If you think there are some other amazing budget decks, be sure to let us know. The more the merrier. A player coming from Master Duel or jumping into the game wanting to know what exactly would be some great budget decks would be awesome. Another thing I wanted to say for you Update Monday lovers, I do have a podcast that comes out every single Monday for Update Monday. I'll also be streaming today on Twitch at 4 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, but you can also check out these videos as I'll catch you on the next one.